Imagine maintaining a fleet of 40-year-old jets while your competitors rush toward shiny new aircraft. Sounds financially reckless, doesn't it? Yet Delta Airlines currently operates over 100 Boeing 757s in October 2025, making them the world's largest operator of this aging narrowbody. Most industry analysts predicted the 757's extinction years ago. While carriers like Jet recently retired their last 757s, Delta continues investing millions in cabin refurbishments for their entire fleet. American Airlines eliminated theirs during the pandemic. United parked most in desert storage. The aviation industry consensus declared this fuel-hungry dinosaur obsolete, but Delta recognized something everyone else overlooked, and their contrarian gamble reveals a masterclass in strategic network planning that SRA rewriting conventional wisdom about fleet management. The pocket rocket's glory days when Boeing unveiled the 757 in 1983. It revolutionized the middle market segment. Designed as the aging 727's successor, this narrow-body delivered near-wide-body capabilities in a more efficient package. Airlines quickly nicknamed it the pocket rocket because of its extraordinary power-to-it ratio and distinctive sleek profile. Between 1982 and 2004, Boeing manufactured 1,507 of these remarkable aircraft. They could transport 200 to 240 passengers across the Atlantic Ocean, power through high-altitude airports in extreme heat, and operate from shorter runways that larger jets couldn't safely use. This versatility made them perfect for transcontinental domestic routes, transatlantic operations, and Caribbean services. The 757 became aviation's ultimate Swiss Army knife, equally comfortable crossing America or the Atlantic. The industry turns away by the late 2010s. The 757's stellar reputation crumbled under mounting economic pressures. Operating costs skyrocketed as airframes aged beyond 3 decades, with fuel consumption and maintenance expenses running 20 to 30% higher than contemporary alternatives. The A321neo family burns 15 to 30% less fuel per seat compared to the 757-200, making older jets increasingly difficult to justify economically. Boeing's controversial decision to cease production in 2004 without developing a replacement created strategic chaos across airline networks. Carriers attempted splitting 757 missions awkwardly between smaller 737s and larger wide, leaving significant operational gaps. Meanwhile, modern narrowbodies like the Airbus A321neo began capturing traditional 757 territory with superior efficiency. American Airlines accelerated retirement of their entire fleet in 2020. United followed suit shortly after, declaring the aging jet's era finished. The industry verdict seemed unanimous and irreversible. Delta's bold counterplay while competitors abandoned their fleets. Delta executed a stunning strategic reversal. Rather than retiring aircraft, Delta announced comprehensive cabin upgrades across their entire 123 aircraft 757 fleet, featuring fresh seating materials, enhanced lighting, renewed color palettes, and signature branding elements. They didn't just retain 757s from their 2008 Northwest merger. They strategically acquired additional aircraft as other carriers discarded them. This wasn't nostalgic sentimentality or desperate cost. Delta invested substantial capital modernizing interiors, installing contemporary seats, upgraded entertainment systems, and premium cabins rivaling much newer aircraft. But here is the strategic brilliance. Delta identified 3 specific network gaps in competitors' operations where the 757's unique capabilities created sustainable competitive advantages. They transformed an apparent aging liability into a precision instrument for capturing market share that rivals simply could unmatch economically or operationally. Hot, high, and unstoppable, the 757's superior thrust-to-weight ratio enables takeoffs from short runways and operations at airports with hot and high conditions, higher ambient temperatures, and thinner air, offering better performance than competing aircraft that require longer takeoff runs. Picture summer operations at high-elevation airports like Mexico City at 7,000 feet. Thin air creates brutal conditions where most narrowbodies struggle with full passenger loads. Delta deploys 757s extensively throughout Latin America and the Caribbean, with San Jose, Costa Rica receiving 65 monthly flights from Atlanta, and Bogotá receiving 62 departures, making Delta the only U.S. carrier still flying passenger 757s to high-elevation Bogotá. The A321neo can technically operate these routes, but often with payload compromises that damage profitability. At challenging airports like St. Martin, with its short runway and mountainous terrain requiring exceptional performance, Delta operates daily 757 service while competitors use smaller A319s or 737-700s. Delta serves these demanding destinations with maximum capacity, while competitors compromise. The transatlantic evolution, the 757's transatlantic role, has evolved significantly from its peak. As of early 2025, Delta primarily deploys 757s internationally to Latin America and the Caribbean rather than Europe, with most international flights departing from Atlanta. Before the pandemic, Delta operated extensive European 757 services JFK to Shannon, Orphiq to Lisbon, and numerous seasonal routes, but market dynamics shifted dramatically. With the 757's 3,900 nautical mile range, Delta historically operated profitable non-stop services on thin transatlantic routes, where larger aircraft couldn't achieve acceptable load factors. The configuration with lie-flat business class and spacious economy provided comfort advantages on longer journeys. However, Delta has strategically shifted away from narrow-body transatlantic operations, except Iceland routes, focusing instead on wide-body aircraft for brand consistency on premium international services. This reflects changing market realities rather than aircraft limitations, with Delta redirecting 757s toward Latin American markets, where their hot and high performance creates unmatched competitive advantages. The financial masterstroke. Here's Delta's knockout strategic advantage. Their massive 757 fleet carries absolutely zero debt service obligations. These aircraft were fully paid off decades ago. The industry's single biggest expense, aircraft financing costs, simply doesn't exist for Delta's 757 operations. Consider the alternative economics. Purchasing new aircraft means massive capital commitments, with each Airbus A321neo costing approximately $130 million. Replacing Delta's entire 757 fleet would require multi-billion-dollar investments. Even with Boeing 737 MAX-10 delivery delays pushing back replacement timeline, Delta CEO Ed Bastian indicated the airline might extend 757 operations longer than originally planned. Yes, operating costs run 15 to 20% higher than modern alternatives, but eliminating financing costs while maintaining high load factors on niche routes where competitors cannot match. Service generates superior daily revenue per aircraft. Delta's philosophy defies conventional industry wisdom. Maintain aircraft profitably regardless of age, rather than chasing newest fleet bragging rights that don't improve bottom-line financial performance. Looking forward in strategic lessons, Delta isn't planning indefinite 757 operations. Despite current success, the fleet is gradually being retired, with the 757-200 fleet expected to transition over coming years, primarily toward a 321neo replacements. The A321XLR represents the closest modern equivalent, with over 500 confirmed orders industry-wide, and airlines like United, American, Qantas, and Air Canada eagerly awaiting deliveries to replace aging 757 transatlantic services. Mounting challenges remain real. Maintenance complexity increases exponentially with age. Parts scarcity becomes critical for aircraft out of production 20 years, and stricter emissions regulations threaten long-term viability. Boeing's abandoned mid-market airplane program means Delta lacks a perfect replacement, potentially exposing network gaps through the 2030s. Yet Delta's contrarian strategy teaches profound lessons about competitive thinking. What appears as stubborn attachment to outdated equipment actually represents masterful strategic planning. They identified specific operational advantages newer aircraft couldn't replicate, then systematically exploited those capabilities for sustainable competitive gains. The result: Delta operates profitable routes competitors cannot economically match, serves challenging airports others avoid entirely, and captures premium passengers valuing non-stop service over forced hub connections. What's your perspective on Delta's bold fleet strategy? Have you experienced the 757's unique capabilities firsthand? Would you choose airlines based on aircraft, age, or route convenience? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. We'd love to hear from passengers and aviation enthusiasts alike. If this deep dive into airline strategy fascinated you, Hit that subscribe button for Orphiq and ring the notification bell. We explore the compelling business decisions shaping our world, from aviation to technology and beyond. Like this video if you discovered something new today, and drop a comment telling us which airline or industry strategy you'd like us to analyze next. Join our growing community of curious minds who love understanding the strategic why behind headlines. See you in the next video.